Look, what are you doing? What are you doing on my screen there, Dom? What do we got going on?
Hey, how's it going, Eric?
It's going, man. I was getting ready to brush the beard, and you pop on the screen, and you're contemplating life. What do we got going on over there?
NFL draft's coming to Pittsburgh here in a couple weeks, and been reading the different draft boards, and not only are we talking possibly a quarterback almost as old as myself as a free agent, we're talking about reaching for a quarterback in the first round, which didn't go well. Now they're talking tackles, and we've drafted 2 tackles in the last couple years in the first round, and they're not panning out, and I'm just serenity now.
Yeah, I've not been listening too much of the Dolphins talk, but they've been making some moves, and they got that huge cap hit to deal with Tua, and I like some moves they made now, but we'll see, man. I don't know. They're gutting a lot. I mean, I think the only thing that's decent right now is still the running back core, and it's always a safe bet to get a good lineman in round 1, but in a lot of the mock drafts, there aren't many linemen in round 1, which is interesting.
Yeah,
only a lineman.
Penn State has a tackle. I don't think he'll make it to 21 for the Steelers.
Yeah,
we as I stumble over my words, we traded up for one, and we drafted him as a left tackle, put him at right tackle, made him a swing tackle, then put him back at right tackle because of injury, and then he just had neck surgery. So it may all be for naught. And people are like, well, he's not really playing well. I'm like, you drafted him after trading up, and then you put him in a different position. Like,
yeah, it's tough how they do that, but they, like a lot of guys, they got to play the different positions. They move them all around. It's crazy.
Yeah. Really, but then you can't be mad at the guy for not knowing the position you drafted him for when you've been hammering him to play other positions the whole time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you got to be utilitarian in the different things you do. Play left, play right, and different linemen have different thoughts as far as what they do. I don't know if I told you or if we did it on the pod or not about my coaching connection with the Steelers. Did I share that on the pod already?
You might have I don't remember it. I thought you brought something up.
Yeah. So my final year when I was doing a year of coaching at Bloom, good old Bloomsburg, and we had
Commonwealth University, Bloomsburg.
Just Bloomsburg University is all we recognize here. If you notice by the gear, I only have gear that's Bloomsburg. I'll bring in the Bloomsburg towel. And anyway, so we had this player. He was out of Philadelphia, Jari Evans. He ended up getting he was looking at D1 schools, but busted his ankle up, and they all dropped him. So he ends up at a D2 school because his tailback from high school was already signed on him coming, and they ended up getting him and exploded. It was amazing, and he got drafted by the Saints. And
nice.
At one point, he was the highest paid inside lineman in the NFL. Made the Pro Bowl multiple times and destined to be a Hall of Famer. And he's been he went from there, went to Seattle for a little bit. I think he was doing some work in Philly. I don't know if he was working in education or whatever, but he just got picked up. He's the assistant O-line coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So,
nice.
So I've been able to tell a lot of kids in my school, because they come at me for being a Dolphins fan. I say, listen, if the Steelers do well, I could take partial credit for a good season this year. So just busting chops, but yeah. So that's the connection there. So we'll see. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
It is. It's neat. It's neat. And living vicariously through other people. That's how the guys that had to play every position because they couldn't start in one playing football. Because I jokingly said my hip was spread all throughout the PSAC, but parts of it as it deteriorated. So. So it's interesting when they move guys around and how they deal with stuff. And the interesting thing is my former coach, who was the ROC, he was the head coach at Lebanon Valley College for several years. He was talking with Sean Payton, who was coach of the Saints at the time, and he told him about they were talking about Jari and everything, and he said, he's a Pro Bowl player, and he goes, well, he's not. He goes, the NFL's like 3 years behind. When the talent gets there, it takes the NFL 3 years to kind of like recognize it and push for him to be, and he was solid for several years in a row. I thought that was interesting. So when you look at like the players that are there and the talent, and when they move them around, it's just it's a unique pace and unique at what they do in the back end. But Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, it'll be. First of all, it's going to be interesting being in Pittsburgh. Hearing a lot about what that's going to be like. You're probably going to stay away for that weekend. Going to be interesting. Yeah. And but yeah, there's a lot of mock drafts coming out. Peter Schrager's mock draft just came out. I think that came out today. I don't even know if Mel Kiper put his first one out, but maybe we'll have to do a special episode where we get some of our regional sports aficionados, get them on a impromptu NFL draft. Looking at different draft boards, we might have to do that. Get that rolling. But yeah, other than that, we're gosh, the time of year we're living in the part or the time in Pennsylvania where you experience every season in one day.
Yes.
You wake up, it's like winter, and it slowly turns to fall, and then spring during the day. You're looking out the window, and then you leave, and it's like that jacket you wore to school. You're shedding because you're sweating on the walk to the car. It is an insane time of year in the area. How's life in Western PA?
Oh, today it was very tricky. It was beautiful outside, bright sun, 42 degrees with a brisk wind. Sunday, shorts and a tank top, cutting grass. It's supposed to be 60 on Sunday. We're going over my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's for dinner. So I had shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, just casual. Took Charlie out. It was not close to 60 degrees. And I checked WeatherBug again, and they downgraded from 60 degrees down to 42 with brisk wind. I'm like, jeans, heavy coat, shirt. Like, okay, we're not going to do this. It's supposed to like tomorrow will be 26 in the morning up to almost 60 in the afternoon. So we have that nice run. Then we're pushing 80 by the end of the week.
Yeah, we had I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday. We were hitting like the 70s and up there, and I guess it was Friday and Saturday, and my boy Ronaldo, Mr. Ortiz, is trying to kick in, but you got to type text.
Yeah.
The guy left, the tech world here in the Dallaston area, and he's living life in the PR. Come on, man, type a little text. He's a good friend of mine. And anyway, so beautiful weather, and then we had that cold, after it was raining a little bit on Sunday, because after church to try to get the Easter picture, I was like, it wasn't good weather outside, and you went home. I'm like, gosh, if I almost feel like I should have a little fire in the fireplace. It kind of had that little nip in the air, and then Monday was kind of like a little bit, but it looks beautiful. But I sent to the group, the family group chat. Everybody's got the family group chat now. I sent a screenshot of like AccuWeather, WeatherBug with the whole freeze warning we have for tomorrow. So it's like, holy moly. I mean, we are in April, right? But yet still got all that stuff going. I got him laughing. That's it. Ray, missed that guy. So during football season, he was the mix meister with the different music, hitting the songs to get the girls cheering, cranking out before the kickoff, before the game.
Nice.
He was in charge. He was Sir Mix-a-Lot for us. Did a great job. So yep. But he's living the life right now. But that's it. Yeah. Do you have great weather? He's got great weather. He's not missing our weather right now. I'm sure the PR is a lot nicer than PA. But yeah. So a lot of good stuff there. A lot of interesting things. And it'll be interesting. Flag football, I guess, was the US flag football versus the NFL flag football was on. Did you hear about that game?
I didn't watch it. I turned it on, and the NFL players were getting stomped into the ground. So I shouldn't say stomped to the ground. The score was getting run up on them because it's not really a contact.
Yeah.
But they were getting schooled.
Yeah.
He's rubbing in the weather.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's exactly what popped into my mind. Yep. Next we'll be sending those pictures of looking out his window.
But our weather's this way all year round too. So
every type of weather.
There's days you walk out in August and it's just like yesterday you couldn't breathe because it was so humid, and today you're wearing a jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and let's see, sports wise, other than that, so our football fans, they're loving life right now. But then basketball, the Final Four and March Madness just ended. Michigan. I told my principal I was a little upset this morning not seeing an email because he's a big Michigan fan. And I was like, I was really expecting to hear, a special jeans day since your team, your team went to the show and won it. And he's like, oh, I was so thinking about it. Like, wear yellow. And if you wear yellow, you can wear blue jeans that go with it to get the Michigan colors. And I was talking about our friends in the West and JG and trying to get him jeans days for Buffalo wins and stuff. And so, yeah, but that was a big game. And one thing cool they did, like 3 years ago, we did a March Madness chip challenge, and they would buy different chips, and the teachers had to go in and vote on what chip was going against each other and what was the finalist in the whole thing. And then the last 2 years they've just, we say randomly select teachers to be a part of connected with the team, but the one teacher who won it last year had like the number one top seed, and this year, so that everybody was thinking the jig was up, and he had dirt on somebody that he was getting good team picks. But so they randomly assign a teacher / a homeroom, and if that teacher's team wins, the principals, I guess, or the PTO will get the homeroom a pizza party. So our one teacher, was very excited, chanting in the hallways because they were the Michigan team and they won, and so their kids are gonna have a pizza party. But I thought it's kind of a cool way to, the excitement of March Madness and stuff, and kind of spread it into the classroom. So that's always pretty cool. So yeah,
we were on break last week. That was our spring break.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of reading in, sometimes outside, sometimes inside. A little bit of rain, a little bit of cold weather, a little bit of sunshine. So I watched some March Madness. Pirates have been surprisingly well. The Penguins are almost in the playoffs. If they win Thursday night, they should be in the playoffs. So it's just like great time for Pittsburgh sports. It's strange. It's been a while since it's been that kind of Pittsburgh sports.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, like this is, I remember back in the early 90s, it was Cowher took over, team started doing well. Pirates were, battling Atlanta all the time for the playoffs. Heartbreaking. I remember Sid Bream sliding into home plate. That crushed me. The slowest man in baseball scored from second base. I was like, oh. But, that was like, we'd go to games all the time. You just expected the teams to win. The Pens were good. It's just that's a great feeling, as opposed to fingers crossed and I'm hoping for the best. It was like they're gonna win. So it's good to have that. Good to have that vibe going again.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, one day I'll experience what all that's rocking like. So I get close to it here and there. Just
I think you could buy the 1972 Dolphin season. They have it on DVD and streaming.
Relive it. They still send it out VHS though. We got to find a VHS player. 8mm reel. 8mm reel. Well, listen, man. A lot of good sports talk. A lot of things going on, but it's always weird. It felt like we haven't chatted in forever, but you're on, I'm on, so that must mean we were off school Monday, and this would be a Tuesday, right?
Tuesday. Yeah, because last week I had a panic attack because I thought it was a different day of the month. It was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait. So I think this is the first Tuesday.
I gotta say that was the last Tuesday of last month. So that means this would be the first Tuesday of this month. So I guess it's time for
the PAECT Pod.
Let's roll it. Welcome to the PAECT Pod, a show for educators by educators. PAECT is a 100% volunteer-run organization that focuses on education technology, integrations in the classroom in Pennsylvania
and beyond.
My name is Eric Verno, and I am the past president of PAECT. And with me, as always, my trusty co-host,
Dom Salvucci, and I'm the president of PAECT.
That he is. All right, and today we are on episode 100, an amazing number, and the show's titled, Are We There Yet? Which can mean so many things, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's we're dealing with weather, whether it's dealing with getting a positive season going. But that's where we're at. Are we there yet? So kind of a crazy time of year and everything. So how are things going in the classroom for you?
Really good. We rolled into the fourth 9 weeks. Didn't have to send out too many warning letters to students for possibly not passing the year. That's always a good thing.
Yep.
And then from there, oops, something's going on. I froze, you froze, I froze. Hold on.
That's right. That was caused by me hitting playing with some things in the back end here.
So let me do this. I'll pull my. No. Can't hear me. Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Hold on. Add you back. Yeah, something's up. Camera's not showing for some reason.
Yeah. I'll take care of it here in a second.
All right. Well, as he's doing that, so yeah, we're as he's talking about going into the fourth quarter. We're in the trimester world, and we just had our parent-teacher conferences last week. So some schools had a little longer break. We still had our conferences and kind of roll. There he is, and yeah. So what life in the last 9? What do you got going on?
We're going to have a jazz cafe in my class. We've been doing some beat generation stuff. We did found some, it was hard to find, but found some school appropriate beat poems, played some jazz music in the background. Kind of, some of the kids were a little freaked out. Other kids were really digging the jazz music, and we're doing a little cultural unit. Did some reading. It was AI based. And I think I talked about this in a previous episode, but it was pretty cool. I took my notes on, that I had on the beat generation, threw it into one AI tool, said, prompted, I need 3 pages of information based on these notes, took that information, read through it. It added some information to it. So I did some fact checking, threw it into a separate AI tool, had it fact check it. And it said outside of some hyperbole, it's, fairly accurate, and I could deal with hyperbole. So I took that and then threw it into Notebook LM and came up with a short video for the kids as an introduction, and used like that little 7-minute, 8-minute video as an introduction. Then the kids had the reading, and this goes totally against educational psychology policy. I showed them 20 higher level questions that they could either write about or we could have a nice discussion. And the kids unanimously voted to have a discussion versus answering 20 higher level questions in essay form.
Yep.
And it worked. And we had a good discussion. Even the kids that were just like, not really that talkative, like they were into the topic anyway. But we had the discussion. So now they're doing a project. They can take a regular poem and either do blackout poetry where they black out certain words, cut it out, rearrange it, write their own poem, or take a poem and edit it to like songs or whatever and kind of make it beat style. And I've been participating with them, making some little beat poems and doing stuff. So we're doing that. Then we're going to perform it and have a little jazz cafe. I told them tomorrow we'll, if you want to bring in food, sign up for what you're bringing in. And I'll try and either make some cookies or go to Sam's Club and buy some animal crackers or something. There's 100 cookies, like almost 100 kids. That's kind of hard to feed that many.
Well, he's giving you the backup. He knows I'm a button pusher, just so you know, all your tech issues were my fault. So he's calling me out there. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's cool. Here's your dumb tie. Many years ago, gosh, 2006 maybe. First time I was introduced to some Microsoft team members in OneNote. And the first activity I saw them do with digital ink was blackout poetry. How they were scanning, like taking pictures of a book and then having, they'd show how kids were blacking it out, then doing it as poetry. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of a neat thing to do and kind of utilize some different literature and stuff. So
yeah. Cool. And thanks. And they could do, physical posters. They can do Canva. And then what I'm having them do is record, even if they're doing just a physical poster, word art. Said, I don't want to read an essay on your poster. And then you'll record it with your phone or whatever, and we'll make a digital copy so they can either present it. And then some kids can just find beat poems, make sure they're school appropriate, and they can perform them in class. And we're using Soundtrap. Shout out to them. Some kids are fired up like, we can make our own jazz music. I'm like, yes, I sign you up for Soundtrap and play. And I have kids doing that. And some kids are musicians, so they're just going to record their own music at home or in school and play it. So something different.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, very cool.
What are you guys up to? Because you're in trimesters.
Yeah, we're in trimesters and we're in testing country. And so I've actually pulled in, I the boring side of it is pulling in the last 10 years of PSSA exemplars, but dumping them into, Notebook LM, the studio, and having it come up with some infographics, some podcasts, just some different things to kind of give the kids to kind of mix it up. So they're hearing it from somebody else. They're kind of checking a little infographic. It's been able to put together some neat Google slideshows and basically, I want to say the old glide shows, right? Or slide decks. But it, kind of going through, and it's kind of interesting how it's pulling all of those PDFs and the data, and it's coming up with what rookie test takers do, what veteran test takers do, or the people who are snoozing, with word problems, and it's just giving it a different twist where it's something different. So we're kind of in that and trying to mix and having some fun. I'll try to pull in some different things doing a quick Minecraft activity where they're kind of showing stuff, and it's just so PSSA math time. So trying to mix it, but then then trying to make, when I have the switch over and I have the kids in science, trying to switch it over. So right now we're making Stanley dupes. So make a duplicate of a Stanley utilizing stuff that we have in the science lab. So they're working on designing that and testing some different things out. So cool. Trying to keep them active and do. But I like that idea, the jazz poetry and doing some stuff there. It's pretty good. I'm sure we can get them some background music. I could see JG doing some bongo work and working out, wearing the hat and doing shaking the tambourine and stuff. So I think we can work that out.
Get him some bongos, the beret.
Yep. Yeah, you can set it all up in front of a big sheet slushy machine, something like that. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be good. Yeah,
I have the black shirts. I can put my cap on backwards. It's not a beret, and I got the sunglasses. So
you're set.
Yeah. It's the kids seem to be into it. Even my students who aren't normally into projects and stuff, they're putting the effort in, and it's good to see. It's something different instead of the usual lecture test or WebQuest test. Mm-hmm. We've done a lot of writing because I work with the English teacher and pushing things out for helping them prep them for, it's with all parts of the Keystone, because you have to write and explain things in your math, for the algebra, for the bio, and for the reading language arts. So I work with the writing and stuff with them all the time. So it's a good little break. Yeah.
No, it sounds you got to keep it fun and interesting and midst the time. And I jokingly say it's the have tos, the want tos, to spice it up a little bit. We did tonight. 2 students are duking it out for our March Math Madness. So for the whole month, kind of lining up with the games, we would have, this year I used a website called Score Leader. Was able to create a free account. In the back end, we use a program where the kids do math problems. They've been doing it for several years in the district. And so I was able to pull that information down into a spreadsheet and then rank the kids based on how many coins they've earned over the years. And it truly wasn't it wasn't set up where it was 1 through 105 based on their math ability. It was just based on, did they get on and do this activity?
Yeah.
And then I took that list, dumped it into this Score Leader, and then it seeded them. And then what we do is, so it's a 5-person team, our 5th being our learning support teacher. So I take the the learning support teacher, I take our paraprofessional on team, and we create 4 regions, and we use our alumni school districts. So like my bracket was the Saucon Valley bracket because I grew up in the Lehigh Valley, went to Saucon Valley. Our one teacher she grew up in Long Island, so Miller High Life. Miller High was the school she went to. I call it the High Life one, and some locals. But anyway, we create them, and so basically we take what it's given us, and it gives you the 4 different brackets. So we pull it in. I put that on a paper. I print that out, and we set it out in the hallway. The kids come in, and it says, who are you up against? Do you have a bye? Don't you have a bye? And then we assign them. We give them an assignment. So every Tuesday and Thursday night there was an assignment. We would go through and see, head to head who won. We would plug it in, print out the next week, the next competition. So got down to the 32, Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and then so tonight is our final 2, and how we do it is during the week. When you start, you're in the competition. When you get knocked out of the competition, your goal is to still complete. And so we do 40 questions a week, correct questions a week using this app where we can pull in and get the data out of it. And all the kids that, whether they win it, came in second place, or whether they lost in the first round, if they had their 40 correct questions every week, so it works out to 120 questions, they earn a pizza party. So
nice.
So right now, 21 of my 50 kids earned it, and my other teacher's getting her numbers together. And then we'll get a local pizza shop or Domino's, and we'll have them bring in pizza. We go into the secret faculty room and take them into the teacher faculty room, and we'll do a pizza lunch. And then we give the top 2 will get gift cards. The first place will get a $10. Second place gets a $5 that we buy. We'll get locally, and then the student who had the most correct questions. So it could be one of them, could be somebody who got knocked out first round. Got a couple kids that were doing like over 100, getting 100 correct questions per week done. Then they'll get a gift card on top of it also. But it was just a nice way. We're assigning stuff that's all review of things that we did way back in the first trimester, way back in August and September. So we kind of crank it through. I know I've talked about our March Math Madness before on the pod, but we had to switch up. The other site wasn't working. So Score Leader was a site. It was really slick. You can kind of get your list of kids and plug it in there, and it automatically brackets it. And it sets up where you can go into it each night, and you can click and put their scores in, click who's winner kind of a deal. So, but like I said, I just screenshot it and pasted it into just like a PowerPoint and printed it out every morning for them. But there's ways you can share it online. So just something to mix it up. And I can even see your kids voting on the blackout poetry and making that like a bracket competition just for like fun or whatever. Who knows? There's so many ways you can mix it in. But, then you tie it in. Like I said, our school did the pizza party thing. Individually, we did the pizza party thing, and just trying to doing stuff to keep them excited. Doing but still getting some good practice in, working through. All that jazz. So it's just my speech to my students last week was, this is why you come to school, and this is why I became a teacher, because we have state testing coming. Like, and they're looking at me like, what? I go, no, this is not why. This is, but there's half twos and 1-2s, and we have to cover some things because we want to make sure that you understand and kind of work through. And and you could look at all from Keystones and the different high school testing that you had to do, and all over the years how the emphasis changed, how the first it got really heavy, then it was like, no, back it off. Now it's kind of getting to the point where you're pushing it up again. And it's just the pendulum of education is so interesting.
I always tell the kids this is faculty meetings, in-service days, and standardized testing. That's why I got an education.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that nails it right there.
I always kid around home. So I'll be like, don't be telling people I'm nice. If people find out I'm nice to you, they won't let me sit at the mean teacher table. And they're like, what? I go, I want to sit with the mean teachers. I want to talk about wrestling, sports, fast cars. I don't want to talk about butterflies and rainbows and puppies. And like, you always talk about your puppy. I'm like, well, that's different. People aren't supposed to know about
that. They're like, were you in school yesterday? We weren't. Yeah, we were in school. What are you guys doing? We're just coming up with new ways to torture you guys in the classroom. Like, that's just what we sit around doing. How can we make it painful for you? They're like, really? I was like, yeah, that's what we do, guys. Come on, seriously.
It was like,
Yeah,
partway through, someone will be like, "Why are you so mean?" I'm like, I drew your class's name out of the hat. Like, what? This is every year we pick one class. I said, in this, I didn't want to pick you guys, but someone says, I'll blame one of the other 10th grade teachers. They picked your class and gave it to me, and I have to be mean to you this year.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. Yeah, they're like, "Oh my word, Mr. Sal, that guy's mean." Oh, crazy stuff. All right, well, I think we're going to do a little bit of some tech news, some things that are going on around the world of technology. It's kind of a unique time. So I've got more on the negative side. So I think we're going to let you kick it off first. Let me switch over here.
I'm doing tools because it was negative. I had some news, and it's probably dated now.
Yeah.
So I went with some tools.
All
They're
right, here
old
we go.
school though. So
let's hit the tech notes. Here we go. All right, buddy, you got the floor.
All right, so I'm going old school. And we've been doing like a lot of AI and really cool things. So I want to go Windows, and let's go with this one. And we'll hit this. We will share. So you are a wizard with images. This goes old school. DoppelMe. Little grayer. My original DoppelMe avatar was jean shorts, the shirt and the shirt with the black shirt with the white skull and crossbones, and my goatee wasn't as gray. Neither was my hair. It was the flat top. And that whenever I taught, my buddy and I taught seniors. We had if you were an optimist, it was principles of democracy. If you were a pessimist, it was problems of democracy. And the kids designed a T-shirt, and it had the skull and crossbones on the front that said POD. On the back, it said, it was like, "We don't need no whatever," and it was like in chalk scribble. And we got those for our seniors every year. People could buy them. So that's my old senior shirt. Now I swapped out the jean shorts for khakis, and got my books. But it's free. You get the DoppelMe coins for bonus stuff, but you get 4 free avatars. And I've used is a website to sign up. It is easy. You go through and if I want to make another avatar, I'm signed in. So I could create another one. I will go to call it whatever. So it starts out, you don't have clothes. So you go from skin tone, eye color, turn myself into a Martian. That's not good.
Not feeling very well there.
Yeah. So it should adjust. I'm running slow. Anyway. Figures not going to show this. I'm lagging. There we go. And that's my old hairstyle. The back when I had black hair.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through and you create your avatar. You can pick the clothes, the eyewear. I'm going to go with a cool eye patch, 3D glasses. Why did it not give me hair?
Doesn't like it.
different hats, different tops.
Yeah, your wheel's spinning, so it's working on saving. So
Yeah. My internet went down today. I had to reboot the router. Then you have the different clothes you can wear. You go 80s, go hipster. There we go. It's a little disconcerting that I don't have clothes yet, but we're getting there. So you go through and you make the avatar. I don't know if it's because of my internet connection or just because I have so much going on. I don't know. But you pick your shoes. There it goes. So I'm going to keep editing this one. So for some reason, it's not quite going the way I want it to go, but we'll get it there.
Yeah.
So now I have pants on. Got my boots. Yep. You have the different extras.
Although this is great for our audio listeners, just so you know.
I know. I gave myself a goatee that was black because this is the younger me. So I have two doppelmies. I got the sports look with the t-shirt and all the jeans, but that's a lot of kids wear the jeans now to be sporty. I don't know why. And it works through that way. It's pretty good. I like it. It's old school. It doesn't lag. I fiddled with this today. Made one for my class to put in my Schoology page, and it did not lag like this. So I'm hoping it's just my my internet.
Yeah, it's your connection. Yeah, you're bringing it back, man. Copyright 2006. Woo!
Yeah.
My gosh, yeah, it's been a while. I'm like, oh, I think I remember. I'm like, oh, I clicked into like forget my password because I'm like, I wonder if I had an account connected. I have to figure it out. So yeah,
my old account is under the school email that doesn't exist anymore, so I had to create a new one. We got rid of the K k12.pa.us emails.
Don't forward anymore. Yeah,
so
that's funny.
Then I was going old school. I'm feeling nostalgic today in my old age. Haiku deck.
Haiku deck. Wow.
Gives you, glide shows, professional design. It's with all the tools that are out there that do stuff for you. It's good to keep your own, creativity going. And this gives you different slides to use to set up. There is premium, but there's also free versions for Haiku deck. And especially like if you don't want your students using AI, push them through something like this. It gives them a little more background, things they can pull in and edit with their presentations. I'm trying to get kids into Canva, and they keep wanting to go back to Google Slides. And I'm like, listen, I said, our Google domain is locked down, so it's hard to share that. We have to convert files and everything else. I said, but this is something they could pull in and then transfer over into other platforms. And last but not least, back to my instructional design for online learning masters. I eventually bought Camtasia Studio for my Mac. Cam Studio, this is a shout out to the Microsoft users out there. It's a free download. It's an open source screen recorder. Since 2001.
Woo!
Old school. Download, screen recording, free. So I did a walk down memory lane, did some Google searches and found some university websites with some tools. And I was going through like, which ones have I used? Which ones have I not used? And they're still around. Some aren't. Like some that I clicked on, some of the history timelines and stuff, they no longer exist. They go out to like the wild, wild west of the web. Fortunately, none of the websites were inappropriate because sometimes you click on those links and you don't know what's going to pop up.
You have no idea. Yeah.
Yep. So it's just like, okay, did it from home.
Right.
Didn't want anything inappropriate popping up on the school, getting flagged. Mm-hmm. So did some searches, but yeah, these 3 things, the DoppelMe, you get for free. It works way faster than it was going for me. So those of you walking your dogs, I apologize. But to give you a visual on my DoppelMe, it's rather lifelike. It's kind of like a young muscular George Clooney with a goatee.
Yep. Sure. Well, they're definitely going to go back and watch the video for that. Oh yeah, definitely check that one out.
It'll get us hits.
There you go. That's it. One hit wonder. For sure.
Haiku Deck, HAIKUDECK.com. It's free. They have the premium. And then Camp Studio is just campstudio.org. Free download if you have a Microsoft device. And that was the one thing whenever I was way back in the day when as a tech coach and we had the Web 2.0 stuff was all new. A lot of the college professors were like, well, you could try this version. Like it's $1,000 program and it gives you 3 weeks of usage. This course is, 9 weeks. And they're like, oh, no, just you use a couple different emails and, do free trials. I'm like, but that doesn't work that way. Like here's these free tools. And this guy just was, like I said, reminiscing, going back down memory lane with some old school free tools. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I'm going to kick it over. Let's great job there. Let's kick over to another set. Here we go. All right. Tech notes from and nostalgia. Here we go. All right, I'm not really offering cash, although that transition had cash piling out of the safe. But out of the vault, the OG origins of the PAECT Pod. Dom and I had been talking about it for years because, as we've heard before, way back there was a thing called PAECT Radio, and it was more like what you would consider podcast style now and what they would do. And so we were thinking about it. It was kind of like paralysis by analysis. What do we do? And this little thing called a shutdown happened, and our KTI program kind of went to the point where it could not happen in person because nothing was happening in person. And so we came up with this thing called KTI in cyberspace. So here's some early footage. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining this evening's Keystones Together in Cyberspace Launchpad. So on the fly, as I'm doing this, coming up with these names, calling it the Launchpad, old school, like my old table I had, you got the metal KTI sign. And this was like our intro to I think we had like 700 people join that night because it was a lot of people that were attending KTI alumni. Plus, what else was there really to do during the shutdown, right? So people were hopping on YouTube and Facebook. And I mean, this is like old school. I still have like that divider, that wall there. It looks like I'm at a Chinese restaurant I got from a property. So, I mean, I still have that thing sitting over here. Pretty funky. But, yeah, you look at some of this, the Launchpad, Scott making his debut. That was the first time going online. I mean, look at the color of that beard.
That's putting some distance between him and Macer.
If we counted that, Macer may have been a part of this summit. I don't know. I'd have to go through the lead learner team. So there we had a Bitmoji room, everybody in front of the Cub at the Shippensburg University. Oh, they were breaking out everybody's name. Oh, yeah, we'd have to scroll through to see if, I don't know, I guess Macer might not have been a part of this one. yeah, just going through, and we had people kicking it
Actions
off.
where they talk about the reactions in Zoom, right? Let the people that are sharing.
Just nostalgia, man. This is many years in the making. Gosh, look at everybody cranking out. So KTI in cyberspace and everybody with the boom mics and doing their deal. And yeah, just amazing stuff. So yeah, so that's your trip down memory lane prior to us hitting 100 episodes with this new show, as we took a little bit after that to kind of kick this off. But dude, we've been rolling this for a little bit. So
yeah.
So we are trained professionals, but we just make it look like we're fumbling and rumbling and stumbling sometimes, just for the effect, So
makes people feel more comfortable about their efforts.
How about it? We're gonna make them feel good about themselves. So I have a couple. I got like I said, I almost felt negative with some of my tech notes, but the first one, you actually, when you were showing Cam Studio, popped into my head. I quick did a search because I'm like, wait a minute, is it the same thing? But it's not. So I don't know if you saw this, but a lot of teachers use Screencastify.
Yes.
Well, in the whole branding concept, here's PR news. So Screencastify is now being branded as Castify. So they're just changing their name. Still the same old, a lot of same features, but they're working kind of like just because they want to do more than just a screencast. They want to roll into probably doing some podcast stuff like what we're doing. So they're kind of rebranding themselves. But that was last minute tech note number one. Then, all right, promise you don't get upset at me because I'm sure you've seen this news. But Dom loves Sora.
Yes.
And OpenAI has just put out the news that they are shutting it down. When you hear the statistics in the back end about how much money they're spending for how little of use, so it boils down to, Dom, you just haven't used it enough.
I know.
Yeah, they're not considering the investment not to be a great one. So it kicked off in September, and I'm trying to even think here where
Disney was going to make a big investment in this. That's what surprises everybody.
Right. And they said they're spending upwards of $15 million per day on Sora. Per day. So yeah, reactions are mixed with people, happy, not happy, all that jazz. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, so that's going to be no more.
They will give you, not to interrupt, but to interrupt.
No, you're good. Yeah.
They will give you a heads up and explain to you how to download your videos so you don't lose them. People that have been using it.
Yeah. Oh, very
so
good.
I did read this article. Now that was like, I started making a bunch of little white puppy videos.
Cranking it out. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to become more popular now that they're shutting it down, kind of a deal. All right. So that was sad news number one. Sad news number two. To me, I'm obviously I enjoyed, but Microsoft Publisher was one of the first getting into creating different, whether it's a class newsletter, whether it was kind of cranking some things to print out and send home to families, right? This was the main one Microsoft free product that was out there, and they are going to be shutting it down in October. And there's still a lot of big because it says as a .pub file. How can I view those? Do I just convert everything over? But if I convert it, it's editable. So I mean, the amount of pub file I just have in on my OneDrive that's just shoved all over the place. I'd have to find them all, but yeah. So got until October of next school year. They're going to be shutting it down, and there's other things that their products can do. But then Canva can pull. You can make a lot of this stuff in Canva. Things that we've been doing and things of that nature. But so Microsoft Publisher shutting down. All right, and the last one I threw this in for you, Dom. Let's talk a little Apple. All right, the MacBook Neo. Right when this first came out, I don't know what I'll get your thoughts on it. I didn't tell you about this one ahead of time. I don't want you to get too excited. But I personally, I heard a lot of different tech pundits talk about their questioning the market. What was the angle? And I personally right away went to it's looking to undercut Google Chromebooks in education and in schools. With now a lot of schools with iPads, and then they've got the Logitech keyboards, and those Logitech keyboard prices are rising. That when you look at the combination, you're pretty close to that $499 mark. So, all right, what are we thinking here, Dom? He had, for ladies and gentlemen listening at home, he had to put his shades on.
I went because Neo with the Matrix. They're not quite Neo glasses, but
yeah.
you know, I would have had them ready if I'd have known.
Yeah.
I think they're late to the dance, but it's a good opportunity for them. I mean, with the prices of MacBooks, like decent MacBooks, or not, excuse me, decent Chromebooks going up. iPads are expensive. You know, it makes sense for them to have something that's a low cost. And even if it doesn't get into the schools as widespread because it's late, it's, you know, a late entry, kids coming out of school going to college, it's the price of a computer kids are taking to college. You know, it'll get them in and it'll pull people in. And once you start playing with that, you upgrade. People everybody needs a starter computer. And then from there, like when you find something you like, you start upgrading.
Yeah.
So
my only concern, but I guess they've been, you know, I say this in one end, but I pull it back in the other because like they've been doing this, but the mobile chip that's inside it, right? The processor is, and I don't even know, it's like the A19 processor. I don't know. Is that in the iPads or is that just in phones? I forget exactly, but that would be the only thing I feel like if you're at home thinking about, do I get this? I would wait for version 2, right? And that's usually a lot of people say in tech by version 3 is when they work a lot of the kinks out. But because like for my oldest daughter, I jumped on the MacBook Air, the M1. And then like when I didn't realize a limitation to the M1, everything she's loved, she's still using it out of college. But one limitation would be when you plug in, you can't do like you know, I love a computer and then dual monitors coming off of it. Yeah. Whereas with the M1 chip, you can only run one monitor. You can't run 2. You could do some display port stuff and like that, but with the M2 is questionable, but the M3 definitely you can just plug multiple monitors in and you're rocking and you're rolling. So you know, but again, if it's the same chip as iPads and iPads have been running for multiple cycles and how they're doing it, I don't know. I think it's an interesting shot. I look at my daughter's school that she had a MacBook Air, and then this year they pulled them and they gave them all iPads with the cases. Now this is her last year, so it's not a big deal. But I know some schools are actually they're starting to look at it. So yeah, kind of interesting. But I thought that was a cool tech. The only complaint from the Surface, if you look up Surface Neo, it was the dual, almost like the Galaxy foldable, but it was it basically was double like. It was like double Surface books put together, and then you would fold it up and open it up. Okay. So like all glass. So that was a device that was it was prototypes were made, but it never made it to market. But so people were right away complaining about the fact that the Neo name was taken, but like you pointed to it was a name in the Matrix and things of that nature. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, so Surface Book Neo. There we go.
Yeah,
who would have thought? Verno bringing up some Apple stuff.
I know. Well, I still find the irony in the fact that, you know, you're a Microsoft guy and you got your daughter an Apple, and I'm an Apple guy and I got my daughter a Microsoft.
That is funny. That is good stuff. Yeah.
But then
she together with both, but yes.
Yeah, she needed the iPad, and I'm like, so we got to a Microsoft so you can write on the tablet. It's just it doesn't work as well as the writing on the iPad. I'm like, okay.
In the end, I know. I tried to tell her. Didn't listen. Oh, good stuff. All right. Well, let's go over what's happening with PAECT. What do you think?
Sounds good. There's a lot happening.
Here we go. There it is. Here we go. All right. Well, a lot happening, but not necessarily all filled out in our calendar here. But we've got, all right, KTI chat kicking up, coming up. Is this the right? Yeah. Okay. So we got next week's KTI chat. So on Tuesday, the 14th, got our virtual board meeting. Then I'll be in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania at the Bloomsburg University. No Commonwealth involved, but we'll be the TERS Technology Symposium. So Tech Education Research Symposium, higher ed. So they're having face-to-face and virtual presentations. So if you're interested in attending, premium members, $40. If you're a non-premium member, $50. But it's a smaller conference. Great FaceTime, great time to have conversations. Really, really worth the day. So I'm definitely excited for that. So I'll be attending on behalf of PACT representing. And at the same time, Dom will be at
EdCamp SRU. Back to the 80s, 9 to 2:30 on April 18th. It'll be in Slippery Rock in the education building, the McKay Education Auditorium is where it's going to start. The registration, it's linked off of our website, but it goes to a different website for registration. Ed camps are free.
Mm-hmm.
There's parking right outside. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There's parking right outside the McKay building. There's tons of parking on campus. It's McKay's right on the edge of campus. When you're coming from the city of Slippery Rock towards the university, it's right there. So,
all right. I was going to jokingly say that if they're having the tech throwdown that was so well featured in Ed camps from past, I'm sure you'll be cranking out some Doppelby to everybody to throw it. Try to show everybody up there. So, all right, I like it. All right, that's looking to be great. I'm really, really hoping we're really working on trying to support and bring back Ed camps. It's such a great tool, such a great time. All right, then the last day of April, we've got the Northwest PAECT Extra Mile Award Dinner and Canva tasting on Zoom. So we got the Extra Mile Awards happening Allegheny Grill in Foxburg, Pennsylvania. All right, so wait, RSVP there. And then there's going to be a buffet dinner. And then we've got the Canva tasting. So Canva, an amazing tool that is free for educators. So this online event, tasting menu of Canva tips and tricks. All right, Northeast PACT. Cranking it out virtually. Very good. All right, now if we go to the Glide Show, so they have April 11th, the Robobots Student Showcase in Meadville Area High School, 10 to 2, hosted by Northwest. So that's one thing that's on the Glide Show that we don't have on the calendar. So, yeah, if you're in the area, check it out. All right, lots of good stuff happening.
And as always, go ahead.
Let's say as we get ready to roll into the summer, getting ready to plan some things out. So always exciting, and a lot of regions are starting to put their calendars together for the following year. So make sure to reach out. I think that's where Dom was going to jump as well. Go ahead, hit it, Dom.
And if there's something you want to see happen, reach out to your regional director. We have Remake Learning Days firing up here too. So our calendar looks a little sparse, but there's a lot going on with Remake Learning. A lot of PACT members are doing events through Remake Learning, so check that out. A lot of names of people see what's going on. I know I'm an ambassador. I'll be at several events coming up over the course of April and into May. So, we usually have Remake Learning on. We couldn't schedule it yet. We may still get them on, but Remake Learning Days has a lot of information and a lot of events going on. Check out that website.
Yeah, very much, very much. All right, well, another fantastical evening of PACT Pod. We're cranking in April, experiencing all the seasons. So we've got a lot coming up. And the other thing is, not only do you speak out to your regional directors, but if you want to be on the pod, you want to share something about what you're doing in your classroom, reach out to us because, listen, PACT, we are
the voice of EdTech in Pennsylvania
and
beyond.
Thanks so much for joining tonight, and have an amazing rest of your up and down temperature week.
Take care, everybody. PAECT and the PAECT Pod would like to thank all of our sponsors. Our Tier 3 sponsors, EduSpire, Tech, The Next Step. Our Tier 2 sponsors, ClassLink, more time learning, less time logging in. Teachers First. SAM Labs, engaging and effective K-8 STEM and STEAM educational solutions. Lego Education. Toddle, teacher built, AI first, more than an LMS. Once again, PAECT and the PAECT Pod would like to thank all of our sponsors for the support that allow us to do what we do. Thank you.